Hello everybody, this is Zoe from No Safer Place, and wow, do we have something incredibly exciting to talk about today. I cannot even begin to explain to you how exciting this video is. For me anyway. If you've been following my blog or YouTube channel for a long time, you'll know why I'm called No Safer Place, because I absolutely adore the Bone season. It is my favourite series ever. There are 7 books in this series. We are on the 4th one. The 4th one comes out on January the 26th, 2021. I was asked to be a Bone season advocate a few years ago, which means that I get the books early. So you will never guess what book, friends, that I have in my hand that I got on Saturday. It is now Monday. I didn't read it on Saturday, I was too scared. On Sunday, I couldn't resist it anymore. I started it Sunday night. I finished it this morning. It took me about 13 hours to read. I guess like 7 or 8 of those of which I was sleeping. So yeah, I blitzed through it. If you don't know what book I'm talking about, it is The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon. As you can see, the first book in the series and the 3rd book in the series are just behind me. The second one is that it wouldn't fit on my display, so I had to go with the original and the most recent, and now it is not the most recent because The Mask Falling is the most recent. I have been waiting over 3 years for this book. That's why I was so scared going into it, because I wasn't sure if it would be as good as the first 3, and that is always scary going into a book series that you love so much. So I was scared going into this one, and let me tell you, she's a big girl. Not quite as big as Priory of the Orange Tree, Samantha Shannon, but yeah, she's a big one. I have notes, guys. Pages and pages of notes, like 5 pages of notes. I couldn't stop. Once I started writing, I couldn't stop. I also don't know how long this review is going to be. It could be very long. Before I start, I will say I am trying to keep it as spoiler free as possible. I have avoided all big spoilers. 1 or 2 little things in this review may be what you class as spoilers. So yeah, if you don't want to know a single thing about this book, don't watch this review. And again, I will not spoil anything massive. So let's get into the review of The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon. Let me also say, if you haven't read the previous 3 books, 1, what are you doing with your life? 2, there really is no point watching this video, because if you don't know what happened in the first 3, none of this is going to make sense, and there definitely will be spoilers from the first 3 books in this review. Let me stop rambling. Let's get going. What I first want to say is that there's just something about this series that feels like home. Having loved this series for so many years now, and also growing up with this series, I mean, I was barely an adult when this series first came out, and now I'm like 26 years old, so yeah. I have grown a lot since then, and I feel like I have grown up with these books. So going back into it, it just feels so cozy and so warm and just so familiar. And I actually haven't really had that with a series before. I had it a little bit with Harry Potter, but not like this. Not the way that these books just feel like I've got a nice blanket on with a hot chocolate in winter, and yeah, they just feel like home. Let me just say, there is a lot of Paige and Warden in this book. It feels almost reminiscent of the Bone season and all of the fireside talks that they used to have in there. And I think in this book especially, that's how you can compare how they were in the first book and really see how they've grown and evolved with each other, and just how much their bond has strengthened since then, and it's just beautiful. Let's talk about Paige. Paige is suffering immensely in this book. Now I know, if you've read the previous 3, you will be saying, when is Paige not suffering? True. But this book in particular, with everything that has happened to her, the torture and the waterboarding, and just everything that she's endured recently, I feel like this book, it finally gets on top of her. We've seen her go through so much and not really have time to process any of it. So even when she gets just a slight break from everything going on, you can see that it instantly just comes tumbling down on her, and you can tell now it's definitely taken a toll, and the PTSD representation in this book is just amazing. The flashbacks, the triggers, just the whole process with what she's having to deal with is just done so well. And usually there's such a rush to make our protagonists, especially heroines, seem invincible and unwavering, because females are already seen as the weaker sex. There always seems to be this thing to make women seem as physically strong and mentally strong as possible. And strength, of course, is seen as not letting these things affect you and not showing any weakness. But Paige doesn't have that, and that is what I love. Paige's vulnerability and openness to just embracing her past just makes her seem even stronger. This book highlights how much she's been through, and instead of, I don't know, undermining it, which I think a lot of books do, just making them come out the other side stronger than ever straight away, we get to witness the whole process. And I feel like that's the biggest thing I've taken away from this book. Just strength can be seen in so many different ways, and Paige is one of my favourite characters to show that. And now about Paige, let's talk about the setting. This book is based in France, predominantly Paris, but we do get around. I have to say, and I know this may be a little bit of a betrayal, but France has been my favourite country thus far that we've explored in the Bone Season world. Just the world building in this is just spectacular. It is honestly spectacular. Just every detail, the streets, the buildings, the rivers, the landmarks, the sights, the smells, you just are left wanting for nothing. Which I feel like when you're exploring a new world, I know it's not a new world, but we're in the year 2060, so a lot has changed. And just feeling like there's no question left unanswered in the world that you're building in your head when you're reading this, I think that's just invaluable when reading. And there's not many authors that I can think of that can do that. So Paige starts working for the elusive Domino program. They want her to complete tasks to further their plans and further what they want to do. But as always, our Paige just does things her own damn way. Which definitely does not sit well with them. They are not the kind of people that like changes in their plans, especially ones that are done just off the bat. They want Paige to go dream walking for them, come back and find out confidential information that they can then use to further themselves and their goals. Again, trying not to spoil too much, because I don't like telling you even little bits of information like that, because as I say, it can spoil it for some people. So they have plans and they want Paige to help them. We'll leave it as that. Of course, Paige has her own agenda. She can't just go in, get the information that she's told and come back out. She wants to also further her end goal and what she wants to do. And who can blame her? While Paige is working for the Domino program, we get to see Paige delve into the Paris underworld and what it has to offer. Of course, we meet a lot of new people in this book. Like, of course, it's a whole new country and citadel to explore. And of course, we have some old favourites reappear. The Rag and Bone Man, our old friend Jackson Hall, or not our old friend, as the case may be. But as always, try not to fall in love with any characters, old or new, because just don't get invested. You know what Samantha Shannon does. She just makes you love these people and then tears out your heart and just kills them in the most horrific ways. So yeah, try not to get too invested, guys. It is so hard to review this book with zero spoilers, because there is so much that goes on and so many subplots, but I feel like if I tell you certain things, it may allude to other things, and I don't want to give any of it away at all, because I feel like that is something you should do for yourself. I mean, if you do want a spoiler review where I just tell you everything and all my thoughts on every single thing that happened in this book, I would love to do that, but I'm not sure if that's something people want. I don't know, let me know. I mentioned Paige and Warden earlier and the amount of book time that they get in this. Honestly, I will tell you this, small spoiler coming ahead. If you are a Paige and Warden fan, there is a lot to get excited about in this book. And I will leave that to your imagination as what I mean there, but it's something that we've all been waiting for. Just love the care they have for each other and the unwavering loyalty. I think that's my favourite thing about their relationship, whether that be a friendship or a relationship or just an alliance. Just, I love what they have together, whatever you want to define it as. I love it. Warden is just, you know, how do I even start on Warden? I feel like if you read my reviews or watch my old videos about the Bone season, you will know how much I love him. He is my favourite character from a book ever, because he's just so damn, just everything I could ever want in a character. He's just so brooding and mysterious, but then just so much more open with Paige than he used to be, and just watching him break down these barriers and letting Paige in. It's just been beautiful to see. There's me just going off on a completely separate rant there. Again, I could probably film a video all just about Warden and my love for him. But yes, the original point, a lot of Paige and Warden in this book. A lot of Paige and Warden fans will be happy. Now, something that surprised me about this book, the first few hundred pages are exactly what I expect from a Bone season novel. I go in knowing that there will be action on every single page, that a lot will be happening, there'll be a lot of subplots, Paige just being the absolute badass underqueen that she is, kicking ass, taking names. I expect all that. I expect a few deaths along the way. I expect a few things to come out of the woodwork. That is the usual kind of thing I expect from a Bone season book. And then the last 100 pages happened. I won't lie, when I read those last 100 pages, I felt physically sick. I believed nothing that I was reading. I trusted absolutely no one. Any kind of loyalties I'd made up in my head to someone were just completely out the window. I just had no alliances with anyone. I just felt like I believed just nothing that I was reading, because it was just shocking me to the absolute core. I felt like all the relationships that I built up in my head were just a lie, and I was just doubting everything and anything, everyone and anyone, and just, oh, I have never experienced that in a book before. Just major things started coming out of the woodworks about people's true loyalties, their true auras, and I was a mess. I am still a mess. Thinking about those last 100 pages are turning me into more of an emotional mess than I already was after finishing that book. So yeah, if you've read it and you've read the last 100 pages, please feel free to comment down below or message me on any kind of social media, because I need to talk about those things that happened. I feel like I may need therapy myself after reading those last 100 pages. The last 100 pages aside, we are teased more about the refs in this book. Their weaknesses, their minds, their bodies. It's so strange that we've had 4 books now, 4 books to learn more about them and know what they're about, but still we basically know nothing. I love how we are told such little information about them each book, and your opinions change so slightly and so gradually with each book. It's just amazing. Don't get me wrong, I would love to know everything about them, but I feel like we're fed just enough about them in each book to keep us wanting more, but not knowing too much. I feel like knowing too much about them too quickly would just ruin everything, because we want to know why some people still want to kill them all, but why some people are just die hard to have them alive. So yeah, I like that there is still so much mystery around the refs. It's weird because when I think about Warden, I know he is a ref, but I just can't accept the fact that he may be as bad as someone like Nashira. I guess there's a long way to go in the next 3 books. One of the weaknesses we find out, or it's not a weakness as such, it's just, how do I say this without spoiling it? There may be another version of refs in this book, and that bit shook me to the core, and I feel like I should have noticed this. Maybe when you read it you'll be like, huh, yeah, I knew that all along. I had no friggin' idea. I must be the most naive person ever. Or maybe Samantha Shannon is just a genius. I'd probably go for the latter. Basically, what I'm here to say, and just the whole point of this review, is that I absolutely loved this book. It was worth every single day of the 3.5-year wait. I literally couldn't put it down. As I say, I read it in like 12 hours and the majority of those were spent asleep. It was just unputdownable. Just pure joy. This book was just pure joy. I mean, among many other emotions, but mostly joy. I will say, for me, it was the best book in the series so far. I did not think those words would ever leave my lips. I just always thought that the Bone Season would be my favourite because it was the original. And even with the second and third, the first was still my favourite by a long, long stretch. It just held such a special place in my heart, I think. It just has always held such a special place in my heart that I never thought another book in the series could replace it. I was wrong. Maybe it's because we've had such a long time away from the series and I was just so pleased to have it back in my life. I don't think it is. I genuinely think this is the best book Samantha Shannon has ever written. Maybe taking the break from the Bone Season and writing Priory helped with this book because just something about it, it has that extra, I don't know how to explain it, but it just, not that it lacked anything in the first three, but this just felt like it was a step up. And this is just now my new book, baby, and I feel like I will sleep with it next to my bed. I will never ever get rid of it. And I've just never been so happy to be a Bone Season advocate. I know that you can't see this top and you probably haven't seen it for the whole of the video, but I am representing the Bone Season. Hair's in the way. The Bone Season. Look at the back. How awesome is that top? Don't even know if you can see it. But yeah, as I said, this book comes out the 26th of January. Waterstones just sold out of their signed editions, which I'm pretty annoyed about because I haven't actually pre-ordered it yet. Terrible fan. But yeah, I need a signed edition. I just need all the editions. Honestly, I just feel like I'm on some kind of book hangover. I feel like I've got verbal diarrhea and I can't stop talking about this book because it's amazing. The second I stop filming this video, I'm going to read it all again so I can just process everything that has happened, because usually the first read through of a book that I'm super excited for, I do tend to skim, which I know is really bad. But when you're so excited to know what happens and you've been waiting for something so long, I just can't read it fast enough. So yeah, I will go back in again, read it again, and just bask in the absolute bliss that is Warden. Can you tell I'm a Warden fangirl? Definitely not. But yes, I am going to shut up now. It's funny because this is the spoiler-free review. Can you imagine how long the spoiler review would be? Because Jesus Christ, this is actually 25 minutes at the moment without editing, so at least 15 minutes. The spoiler one would be at least half an hour, possibly more. Now I really want to film it. Maybe I'll reread it and then do a spoiler one. Let me know what you thought. I know that I've been very overexcited in this video. What can I say? It's a great book to get me back into filming videos again, doing reviews. So yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that usual good stuff. Also, you can turn on the notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos, which is usually every Tuesday and every Saturday. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you would like to see more of on my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.